Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, December 25, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located in the comment section, as well as the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because you know that the videos over here at Weather Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's been like in your ear recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the Euro model as well as the GFS supercomputer models. So keep your eyes focused at the timestamp at the top, as well as across the Caribbean. You know, we're looking for what we see on the key on the right. The greens represents 1 to 5 inches of rainfall. The yellows, 6 all the way up to the reds into the 16 inches of rainfall range. So let's see what's going to be happening. So we can see that as we head into Thursday, we have a lot of moisture, especially to the southwest of the island. Some moisture across Jamaica for sure. We see those dark greens into the yellows according to the Euro. This is valid for 6Z on Thursday, which is actually 1 a.m. Very interesting. And then we see that as we head throughout the day on Thursday, yes, we have more of the moisture to the west of us, but we still have some isolated pockets of showers in and around the island for sure. Heading into Friday, we see most of the rain to the south of us, but we can still get in on some amount of afternoon rainfall for sure. Heading into Saturday, definitely less rainfall, but we still have some lingering showers in and around the island in some spots. Sunday, something similar. Heading into Monday, definitely less rainfall, but some lingering isolated showers. Heading into Tuesday, we see most of the rainfall to our south, especially right there to the east of Nicaragua. And then we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for 12Z on Wednesday, January 1. This is 7 a.m. and we do see a lot of moisture to the southwest of the island. A lot of moisture right there to the north of Honduras. Very interesting forecast. Let us see if the latest GFS run is showing something similar. So we just looked at the latest Euro model that came out at 3:30 p.m. Now we're looking at the latest GFS model that just came out an hour ago. So we can see that as we head into Thursday, we have a lot of moisture in and around the island. You see the greens represents 1 to 5 inches of rainfall, especially right there across portion of the Cayman Islands to the east of the Yucatan Peninsula. We can see that as we head into Friday, we still have some lingering isolated showers in and around the island. We could get on some afternoon rainfall. Saturday, we see something similar, rainfall lingering, especially during the afternoon. Sunday, we see that rainfall is still lingering in and around the island. Heading into Monday, still have rainfall lingering in and around the island. Tuesday, we see that it's definitely going to be tapering off, more of it off towards our south, just like what the Euro model was showing. So we see the consensus for the rainfall at the end of the next 7 days, January 1, showing most of the rainfall right here to the east of Nicaragua and the southwestern Caribbean. We see that both the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models are in consensus with that. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Wednesday, January 1. And excuse me, so we can see that the most in the way for rainfall is wherever we have the dark reds into the purples, into the pinks, into the peach colors, and we know all of that represents 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 up to 8 inches of rainfall, like what we see here in the key on the right. And we see that the most rainfall according to the GFS is showing all of the dark reds near Florida, the eastern Gulf of Mexico, the eastern Yucatan, Belize, Guatemala, sections of El Salvador, Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, western Venezuela, all the way up into portions of Jamaica and Cuba. And if we take a look at the Euro accumulated precipitation forecast, we see something similar, especially across Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, eastern Honduras, the Cayman Islands, right here all the way up into portions of Cuba as well. So we definitely have the consensus, so we know that there could definitely be some isolated flash flooding in those areas. Not so much for Jamaica, because if we take a look at the close-up in terms of the accumulated rainfall, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are showing the same thing that we just saw. All the rainfall expected from now up until January 1, and we can see that there is consensus for more greens if not yellows from east to west all across the island. And we see that the brunt of it should be affecting, looks to be, let's say, I believe northeastern Jamaica for sure. We're talking about St. Mary, Portland still getting the brunt of the most in way of rainfall. And we can see the colors here on the key on the bottom. We're talking about the greens that represents 15 millimeters of rainfall, all the way up into the yellows that represents 30 to 40 millimeters of rainfall. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with that. So we could get some isolated flash flooding in some spots. So we have to take necessary precautions so that we're not that drastically affected. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the surface map of the Atlantic is showing for this evening. And we can see that we have a frontal system right here stretching all the way from the northern portions of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of the northern Bahamas. Another frontal system right here stretching all the way from northern section of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of the main development region. And we can see the broken orange lines right here across the Leeward Islands associated with a trough. And we have a ridge of high pressure up here that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. First of all, we see the clouds associated with that trough or that frontal system stretching all the way up from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into the Bahamas. We can make out a lot of clouds, a lot of moisture taking place across the Western Caribbean, basically leftover troughs from frontal systems. And we see all of the upper level winds shearing the cloud tops off and pushing them off to the northeast or the east northeast. And we can make out the low level flow of the low level clouds being pushed from east to west, all courtesy of that easterly flow of wind brought about by the ridge of high pressure. We can even make out that frontal system that we spoke about right here, reaching all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of the main development region. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, December 25, 2024. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of some eastern parishes in Jamaica last night into Wednesday afternoon, and that some of this rainfall could have affected sections of some central and western parishes. And we know, well, northern Jamaica, well, you know the drill. Northern Jamaica, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Southern Jamaica, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. And what ended up happening? As early as 5:50 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted not only here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they are also posted on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as you make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the Cuban Doppler radar images that were posted, and they highlighted that we're indeed getting rainfall across sections of some eastern parishes, but more so northeast. We're talking about Portland for sure. We got the greens into the slight yellows that we know represents moderate, that's some light to moderate rainfall, maybe some slightly heavy rainfall in some cases. Then By around 7:55 a.m., the infrared satellite image was posted, and it highlighted that we're receiving some clouds bringing some isolated thunderstorms to sections of St. Thomas. We saw the sparkling white dots, so it definitely got in on some thunderstorm activity. I live in St. Thomas and I definitely heard the thunder for sure. Got in on some morning rainfall too, and we can see that the upper level wind shear was pushing the high cold cloud tops up towards the northeast. All of that cumulonimbus cloud cover pushing towards that direction, but most of the activity was across St. Thomas as well as out to sea. And if we take a look at the final imagery that was posted, this is the visible satellite image, and it was posted at around 1:46 p.m. and it highlighted the clouds that were bringing overcast skies, if not some isolated thunderstorms across especially northern parishes. So it was definitely forecast for eastern, central, western Jamaica, but clearly, especially because of the low level flow coming in more so from the east southeast, and then we have the upper level flow from the north or from the southwest, definitely favored most of the activity across sections of northern Jamaica for sure. That's where we had the overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, but we were indeed getting in on some rainfall across my area, across St. Thomas too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can make out that low level flow, and we can make out that upper level flow, and then we see that by the time the day was about to wrap up, most of the activity was clearing up, but we were still getting on some amount of cloud cover across the island. If we take a look at the accumulated or the infrared satellite images, we can make out all of the clouds that we refer to. You can even see those high cirrus clouds across the island as we speak, and the cumulonimbus clouds to our west in the blues and the greens. Not much taking place as we speak, but we're going to be looking at what's taking place right now shortly. But before we do that, let's take a look at the Flatbridge cam from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing that the water is no longer murky. If you remember yesterday's video, the water was definitely murky from the moderate to heavy rainfall that was taking place. But now the river is back to its normal color. You can see people in their vehicles going about their business. This was at about 4:33 p.m. and we can see that for the most part it was cloudy. Not much in the way of rainfall at that time. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall today, mainly across especially northern parishes. So it definitely paints quite the picture, just like what we saw on the visible satellite images for sure. And we definitely have some comments here from some of our subscribers here on YouTube. Antonique Leachman 4504 stating just a drizzle in St. Catherine Old Harbor. And we also have John Gottin 9783 stating very cloudy in St. Bess. Are you sure about that? Because it looked like it was clear for the most part, in my opinion. And if we take a look here at our Instagram comments, we can definitely see that we had some rainfall across sections of St. Mary. According to Re.Nat Jackson, we also have Princess Stewart 52 stating St. Elizabeth cloudy. And if we take a look at our Facebook page, let's see what's happening over there. We have Dreamy RJ stating Porty wet and cool. I'm loving it still. Tip for the day: hot chocolate with a tablespoon of Baileys. Alright. And even on our Facebook page, we had Olivia Shannon stating heavy rain in St. Mary. And we also had some comments coming in here on our Twitter page. We have Lois Clark stating a little wind mixed with overcast condition on the north coast. Von Ray stating light showers, and Unorthodox Raj stating light showers as well. If we take a look at the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website, let's see what's happening across the island right now. We can see that we have some cloud cover, but the most heaviest cloud cover can be seen off to our west, the blues, the greens right there. And if we take a look at what's happening right now in terms of the Cuban Doppler radar imagery, what's happening as we speak, we can see that the main rainfall batch is right there across sections of the Cayman Islands. Not much taking place across Jamaica right now at all. And if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, we can make out some rainfall across eastern Cuba, some rainfall to the east of Jamaica, some rainfall to the southwest of the western peninsula of Haiti. Not much taking place across the island right now, but that could definitely change tonight into Thursday. If we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can make out some rainfall across Grand Cayman, some moderate to heavy rainfall at that as we speak. You can make out some rainfall to the south and to the west of there too. And we can see that Jamaica's western portions are in the clear. If we take a look at what's happening right now, the Crossroads cam showing that 7:16 p.m. that's the time right now. We can see that there's not much taking place. People in their vehicles going about their business, definitely dry as we speak. Doesn't seem like there's much in the way of rainfall taking place. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have all of this for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Thursday when calculated. That's about 1 p.m. on Thursday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some slight orange colors. That's representing the 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperature range right here on the key on the right. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of December across Jamaica are around 87 degrees Fahrenheit. And when 87 degrees Fahrenheit is converted to degrees Celsius, we're talking about 30.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. And we talked about the fact that my JPS Online hasn't been doing any form of maintenance outages for the holiday season. We're grateful for that, but we also spoke about the fact that if there would have been outages, some mad person on the road crashed or something of the sort with some kind of light post. And that was exactly what took place, because they've stated here at 7:14 a.m. this morning, JPS teams have been dispatched in response to a motor vehicle accident which caused power outage to sections of St. Catherine at approximately 6:02 a.m. We're working to restore power in the shortest possible time. Updates follow, and they actually posted images and stated where the places were that were affected. Here we have the images. Somebody possibly drunk, or who knows, anything could have happened to cause this, but clearly that would have been one of the only reasons why we would have had a power outage, because we've been talking about the fact that they haven't been doing any maintenance outage advisories for the holiday season. But some people in Greendale, Lauriston, St. Jago Heights, Mountain View, Keystone, Tredegar Park, Waterloo, St. Jago Hills, Tyrrell Heights, Montague Heights, if I'm pronouncing that word properly, and the environment were being affected by a power outage at that time. Not sure if it has been fixed completely as yet. Okay, they have an update here stating that majority of repairs are now completed and power has been restored to most customers, with the exception of those in the immediate vicinity of the accident. We continue working to restore power to all affected customers in the shortest possible time. Boy, hopefully it didn't ruin anybody's Christmas at all in those areas. Either way, for tomorrow, no maintenance outage advisories, but the temperatures could still be hot, but we have some tips here to beat the heat. It states here, when outside, seek shade, eat fresh, try eating cold food such as salads and fruit. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep, and rest if you're feeling tired. So take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water. Even if you're not thirsty, put away the sugary drinks. Drink water instead. If we take a look at the dry air map, we can see that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. The yellows, the oranges, the reds, and whites within those reds. And we can see a lot of dry air across the main development region, across the northern portion of North Atlantic, as well as the Gulf of Mexico. While we see wherever we have a lot of clouds and blues, that's where we have a lot of moist air, a lot of this troughing taking place across the central and western Caribbean, definitely moistening up our atmosphere for sure. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that there is a bout of Saharan dust across the Caribbean, pushing from east to west. We can also see a lot of it across northern South America, sections of the main development region right here. We can also make out that Jamaica is in the clear right here. So I guess we're getting on some Saharan dust across section of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Colombia, the ABC Island, section of Venezuela, the Eastern Caribbean for sure. And if we take a look at the wave forecast, by the way, you know the Saharan dust and how it is. By the way, we're indeed grateful that for 2 p.m. on Thursday, Jamaica will be in the clear. But we know the Saharan dust can cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some people. So we're indeed grateful that most of it is passing Jamaica by to our south. So back to the wave forecast, we see more blues than anything else. So we're talking about 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height. So 1.1 on the north coast, 1.2 meter wave height on the south coast. And that's because of the winds that are expected. Clearly we can see it from east to west, from the eastern Caribbean across throughout the western Caribbean. Definitely an easterly flow, and we see the greens. We're talking about anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15, maybe close to 20 knots at most. And regarding Jamaica's close-up, we can see on the north coast definitely 7 knots, south coast 13 knots. Very interesting. Either way, whatever takes place, if we get some isolated afternoon rainfall, definitely across section of central and western Jamaica, and with the upper level wind shear still coming in from the southwest, it could favor more of that afternoon rainfall across sections of northern parishes for sure. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 7 a.m. on Thursday. And where do we see consensus for rainfall? Maybe northeastern parishes for sure, Portland, maybe St. Mary. Not seeing much across eastern Jamaica, not seeing much across northwestern Jamaica. Very interesting forecast. We'll see exactly what's happening in the morning. I'm more inclined to believe the northern and eastern parishes thing, but not really sure at all. On the Euro, it has the rainfall across eastern Jamaica. On the GFS, it has the rainfall to the east of eastern Jamaica. So maybe, just maybe, section of northern and eastern parishes could get on some morning rainfall. Then during the afternoon, we see the blues represent rainfall across mainly central and western parishes. Not so much eastern Jamaica. We see some of that on the GFS. Very interesting forecast. We see a lot of it across northern Jamaica too, making sense with the flow of the winds and the upper level flow. We'll see exactly what happens, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. And we can see that even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that it's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. Even although the GFS has most of the rainfall surrounding the island in all of the yellows, oranges, the Euro has some of it onshore, as well as across eastern Jamaica up to 0.76 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see exactly what occurs. Either way, we're in December. We're in one of the drier months of the year. We usually receive up to 25 millimeters of rainfall in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top. We usually receive close to 4 inches of rainfall in Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom. That's almost 90 millimeters. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of troughing taking place across the central to the western Caribbean, which explains all of this massive clouds and moisture. Lots of rainfall taking place, especially to the west of Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, sections of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Belize, getting it as we speak. But what's happening across the northeastern Caribbean, just some low level flow of clouds, maybe some isolated shores within all of that. If we take a closer look at the leeward islands, let's see what's happening down here. We see some greens that represent some isolated shores, especially to the east of Puerto Rico, in and around the US and British Virgin Islands. Some rainfall to the south and east of Guadeloupe, but that's basically it. But if we load these images from earlier today, we can see that eastern, central, and western Puerto Rico definitely got in on some amount of rainfall. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we can see some isolated sprinkles coming in from the east for sure, affecting especially northern Barbados, sections of the waters to the east of Martinique, pushing towards Martinique, some isolated shores. So too sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines getting in on some of the action, and maybe even Tobago and later on Trinidad could get in on some of the action as well. And if we take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can see that there's some amount of rainfall across the portion of the Yucatan, the northern portion of Guatemala, section of Belize, the waters to the east of Nicaragua, rainfall passing from east west to the north of the ABC island, some rainfall across section of Colombia. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see that the most rainfall is going to be where we have the yellows, oranges, reds. We're talking about where both the Euro and the GFS models are showing it, like sections of the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, sections of the eastern Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, sections of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. You can also see some rainfall in store for portion of the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique might get on some of the action too. Sections of southern Venezuela, Guyana, as well as Suriname and French Guyana. It's that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.